Kirk spoke to the media earlier today, a couple of notes. On the one line at left tackle, he had Trevor Lauk and Jack Doetzler listed as co-starters. In fact, Doetzler was ahead of Lauk, technically speaking, and there was the or designation. But Kirk said today that I believe we had Trevor listed first. No, you didn't, Kirk. But so that just tells you maybe depth charts, as we always say, not as important as some people make him out to be. But Lauk will start, he said, at left tackle. Expect to see Doetzler rotated in at some point. Ike Spelt's expected to be the starter at long snapper. Expect Bryant Worrell to rotate in at some point. And I will stand by what I've said in the past. I would not be shocked to see them just rotate those guys, one at field goal snaps, one at punt snaps. Running back room, Kirk said that room has been affected by injuries during camp, some soft tissue stuff, but Kamari is the most game ready because of experience. One of the big takeaways from yesterday's depth chart release is not seeing Jazian Patterson as one of the top two or even convincingly top three guys. You have Kamari and Terrell Washington as co-starters, which shocked me having Terrell on that line. And then Xavier Williams co-backup with Jazz Patterson. So expect Kamari to get the first snaps. I'd be surprised if it's anyone other than Kamari Moulton. McNeil will play, even though he's not on the depth chart. Kirk said he is the only true freshman who's definitely got the green light for Saturday. Jeremiah Pittman was left off the depth chart. You had Bryce Hawthorne as the starter, which from the moment he set foot on campus, he's just impressed everyone. So I'm not surprised he's the starter. I just didn't expect Iowa to acknowledge it on the depth chart. They did. Part of that is Pittman has been out. He's been back for about a week, but he's getting back up to full speed, and Kirk kind of indicated that his workload may not be full this Saturday. And then Kirk was also asked about Sam Phillips, and he just said he's impressed with Sam's consistency, how he carries himself. He made a really impressive play in the red zone the other day in practice down by the turf. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know where to be most concerned heading. I mean, like, obviously the big thing that we keep bringing up is defensive back and defensive back depth. As long as they stay healthy, my only real concern on that side of the ball is corner. I'm not really concerned. There's nothing to really be concerned about with safety in my mind, because I think Intringer, Wampa, Lutmer are going to hold down those three important spots. But at corner, there's just even the guys who are returning have had their ups and downs, so they got a lot to prove. I don't think those questions will be answered this week. I do think they'll be answered next week, because based on what Iowa State showed us on Saturday, Mark, they can still throw the ball, even without Higgins and without Knoll. So, and I mean, we should have expected that, but there were questions about who their receivers, who were going to be their big play guys. They appear to have several that can make big plays through the air, and they ran the ball effectively. It was an interesting way to use the running backs with Sama in the first half, Hansen in the second half. It worked well. Keep a guy fresh. Iowa's got fresh legs at running back too. So both these teams have depth there. But yeah, those were notes from Kirk Ferentz. And like I said, I think we ran through most of what was surprising with the depth chart. We didn't really get any indication directly about who will be returning punts and kicks alongside Weegan, but I've been given indication that it could very well be KJ Parker. Kirk also mentioned Sam Phillips in the mix with that too today. I'd have no problem with that if Sam works in there. But I think their best chance at making plays over the top may be a guy like Sam Phillips or Seth Anderson. Those guys' speed, you got to be able to create separation. It's been one of Iowa's biggest problems at receiver for years, is just guys that can't separate. And now perhaps they have that. If Caden Weegan can use that speed and put his foot in the ground, Don Patterson brought that up today as well. Sometimes smaller guys have a more natural ability to get that foot in the ground and change direction quickly than a taller guy like Vanderzee or Howard. So, yeah, I mean, think about the guys who are starting. Seth Anderson's maybe 6 foot, 6'1". I think Gill is maybe 6 foot, maybe 5'11", and then Phillips is like 5'7". So they don't have a ton of hype there in the top three, but I do think they have potential over the top, and they need that.